Oh, I'm gonna try to mess with Rivet Face a little bit finally. I still haven't really done enough research, so uh, I'm just gonna pull up the Hunchentoot documentation real quick. So many times I came to this page and it just makes like such little sense to me, like all this stuff. I don't know what to make of it. Actually, a lot of this stuff is like this. Uh, there's a couple examples and stuff. I guess I should go and read this because at least something's going on here. But I want to say somewhere in this file, which I thought would already be here. I'm used to looking at a different page. Yeah, pass it up. It should be right on here, I think. So, Flutter. So there's a proxy. Here's this. Here's what I was looking for right here. Start here. Oh, it's Inventurous. Okay, so um, earlier, once again, I'm not saving any of this stuff. So if I restart Emacs or my SBCL, I guess since it's running actually over here in SBCL and I'm just connecting to it, but like I didn't save any of the stuff of how I started this. So right now, if I update the server and reboot or whatever, actually, let me copy it this way. I'm trying to get that to the local machine. And then what I want to do in here, oh, I don't like this right here, I guess. Let's just save this the next time I can run this. And for, I guess starting off, I won't save it in a file just to get used to doing this. And then maybe come over here and grab the next one too. So this way I can start it. So this is like maybe setting up server, and right here this could be start the server, let's say. Maybe I should have called it an easy acceptor, but whatever. And then now we'll go back over here, let's see. And then inside here, I was in Rivet Web. So if I cd into Rivet Web, then there's an index page over here that should just say like Rivet in here, right? So the first thing I want to do is just make sure I got everything correct. I'm in Vim now, I gotta remember that. See, $, or Shift O actually, nope. Shift A to get to the end and start typing. So Rivet, and we'll just put place there, let's say for now. That should update this page. Okay, so that's working. And then I want to come back over here. And this is, okay, so first off, this right here, should I just split this screen maybe? This Rivet web folder right here is set up in Hunchentoot with this right here is pointing to it. So it's saying document root is pointing to that folder. So that's how I'm picking which folder it's serving these static files. And so I could put like a CSS or images and HTML files in there. The thing to keep in mind is that these static files, so when I go to rivetface.com, it's going to Nginx and then it's reverse proxying it to Hunchentoot. Now, normally, you'd want to do your dynamic content with Hunchentoot because I want to be programming in Lisp, let's say. But these static files, like the one inside there, so if I cd into Rivet Web, this is a static file. It's not running any Lisp code or anything. So really, I shouldn't be serving that from Hunchentoot because it's probably going to be slower than if I was using Nginx. So in real world circumstances, I'd probably put all my static files on a different server, not Hunchentoot, and then do all the dynamic web programming in Lisp on Hunchentoot. But since I'm trying to learn how to make a website in Common Lisp, I'm just going to use Hunchentoot to serve the static files also. So right here is how you would set up a page, I guess like dynamically. So as this one has an index.html, if I set this up, then it's going to create a page. So maybe I'll just test with that real quick over here. And so let's just get rid of all this. And so I'm just going to say TBNL because it's shorter. And fine, easy handler. And then right here, there's a couple things I want to try right now. I guess one of them is just to get this page up here, let's say. So I'm just going to say like test ribbit maybe, and URI, we'll say test. I'll just keep it the same. So I don't have to think very much. And then I guess name. Do I want to put a name there? I probably could just leave this empty for now, let's say, just to test this out to see. And then here we'll put TBNL instead of Hunchentoot again, and then content type. And this right here says text plain. And I tried to look to see what all I could put in there, but I'm guessing it's just sticking to whatever normally a web server can take, because it doesn't really have that stuff documented here. And here I'm just going to say ribbit, and we'll put a space there so I can see the difference between that and the other page. And then close this out. I think now if I was to come over here, and I can just go put a slash test ribbit here. So then we see ribbit face. So now we have that. So there's no index page or anything. It's just all running inside memory, let's say. Now the first question I have, if I go back over here is, I come back over here, and then I want to just put like let's say like bold tags here. Well, I think you're supposed to use strong tags, but I was messing with the web back in the day when we were still using bold tags. And if I come over here, it's going to show the bold tags because we're telling it it's just text plain. So maybe if I come over here and say HTML and then run that, it should give me, there we go, now it's bold, okay. Now, like I said, this is probably the worst way. It's not the worst way because I can think of worse ways to mess with this, but it's probably one of the least lispy ways that you're going to make a page in Lisp. But I'm just trying to get like a foundational understanding of how this stuff works. So with this being here now, I'm actually just going to get rid of some of this. So I don't have to hit weird keys to hit enter without it making another page. So I want to say like now what I could do is maybe put like a DOCTYPE. I don't know if I do it like this. And then from here we could say like HTML, and then we'll say head, and then we can put a title in here. Let's say I don't even be capital either. Get rid of face, and then title, and then we'll close the head, and then we'll do body tag, and for right now I'll just put whatever, and then post the body tag, post the HTML tag, and then see a mistake already. Let me go back up here. here. Just give me a page over here. So now we can basically start building it like this. Now, I'm not really sure. Well, I guess you'd split this off, maybe kind of like if I was working in PHP or something. I guess that might be worth testing too. So how would we do this? Let's see. I have this other file over here. Just gonna break off and come over here real quick. Lisp resources. And this is a page I was building, just collecting links kind of. And other people have some links that are probably way better than mine, and this is all disorganized. And normally I'll format my stuff and then use awk to generate the HTML. And sometimes it's kind of tacky to move stuff around, so I'll just make like 2 or 3 awk scripts and pipe them into each other. And then I can really quickly spit out and create an HTML page that's static that I can throw up on a web server somewhere. And when I look at the source, it's going to look like it's handwritten code kind of. But over here in this thing I'm using is org mode in Emacs. And so if I was to come over here and take this stuff out, let's say, just to start off with, and I can hit Control C, Control E, H, and then it's going to bring up a way to export stuff, and Control C, Control E was like probably to export, and then H brought me here. If I hit H one more time, it'll export an HTML file. If I hit Shift H, it'll throw it in a buffer, and if I hit O, it's going to open it up also. But since I'm running inside Sandboxy, I'm just going to use like a regular H over here. And so that right here, if you look at the bottom down there, it says it wrote an HTML file. So if I come over here now, I want to open that file, let's say, I could say like C, and then go to Learn, Nodes, and then it was Lisp resources, and open that up. And then you can get rid of this index by putting like one of those options I had over here. It'll get rid of this index. And the first thing I notice is like all the line breaks I have in here, it's just running off everywhere, so it looks real bad. The other thing to note too is I didn't, because I was going to do this with awk at first, but I just stick with org mode and learn it better now. These links and stuff are just sitting here. So if I look at the source, let's say, so Control U in this browser, and then like here's what I was talking about, like with awk it would look like I did it by hand, and you can automatically tell this isn't done by hand. So it's taking these links right here. Luckily, it's automatically creating an href tag for me, but it's just using the URL right here. So maybe if a search engine, I was building this page to throw inside a search engine called Yacy because they don't have very much Lisp documentation in there. And so I'm thinking I'm going to have to go back over here and just reorganize this stuff over here. So this right here should actually be the part of the href tag, like inside the a tags, I guess, which you probably can't see right here. But if I was to go over there, now it's using this right here, let's say. It'll replace that with that. So it just looks more like user friendly, I guess. But for now, I don't care about that. If I come back over here and put this back now. So if you look at the top of this file, there's no title, like sitting right here. There's no title up here either, if you notice. And then this just puts the author in there, which I don't care about too much. And this right here is going to say turn the new lines or into BRs, I'm guessing, or just preserve the new lines. And so if I do that same thing again, if I save that and say Control CEHH, then come over here and update this page. Now you'll notice 1, it has the title up here. 2, it puts the title as a heading up here. And then 3, it comes down here. This is so disorganized, but a lot of times, like if I go back over here, maybe it has YouTube videos somewhere. So I just search for YouTube, let's say, so videos YouTube. Then the way I have this over here, so if I was to come on this file and say Control S and say videos YouTube, for instance, if I was to put little like 2 stars or something right here, then all the stuff underneath it would get, like if I want to like put this as a subheading, then I would need to put another subheading right here to separate them. But some of these things are just thrown in here one at a time, and the extra stars would make this all a little subheading of that, and it's just gonna throw everybody's videos under one of these guys right here or something. And I'm not sure if there's a way in Orgma to tell it not to do that. And so in the past, that's just why I use awk to do everything, because I'm just used to it and I know how it works, I guess. Uh, but for now, that's why I'm just going to leave it kind of like this. But at the top of this page also, what happened was the NT right here now made the line breaks at least be preserved, even though it's kind of nasty looking. And so, like I wrote these notes for myself kind of, right? And so there's no line breaks, and I always put my links first and then what its description is underneath it, which I know a lot of people don't like, but this is just all this guy's stuff. And so then this is just some random stuff from other people. So every line break to me means like all this is from Scilord. That's why there's no line breaks. And at least right here, I put some space between it so it looks more obvious of what's going on. So I could have formatted it better. But at least for now, these are just all the different YouTube videos that I found. And like it's disorganized because you see like here's YouTube videos up here, but they're about Lisp operating systems, I guess. And then down here is just like a bunch of different YouTube people I found messing with different stuff. Uh, anyway, this isn't too important. What I want to do now is get this file up on the server, let's say, so we can come back over here, and I'm going to hit Control-B-Z to unzoom because I already have that open. And then over here I could say like put Lisp resources. Oh, if I do that, what directory am I in? Okay, so if I say put Lisp resources.html, let's say, then I should be able to come over here and Lisp resources.html. And then now this is actually up on the server. So maybe the next thing I'll do is try to come over here to Hunchentoot and build a link for that, I guess. So now we'll just hit Control-B-Z to, whoops, Control-B-Z, Control-B-O, Control-B-Z. And then come back to the actual rivet face. .com. And like now there's this page sitting up here that I wrote, the whatever page that maybe I don't really care about anymore. So this might be why it's better. Or maybe I should have used a URL I actually use or something, right? So the next question I have first though is, I don't want this page to be a static file that's serving this rivet page, this rivet face right here, right? I want this to be like one of these guys right here. And so maybe I'll just use the same thing right here, I guess. And now I'll just like, we'll just call it rivet index for now. And then I want this to, would it be better just call it RF index or rivet face index maybe? So it's shorter. I want this to serve, and then I'll just make it where it changes a little bit, let's say, because I'm going to replace all that stuff in a minute. Right. Now I want to know which one's the default, because this right here should be no slash or like nothing past it, which is the same as this, I'm imagining. And right now it looks like it's not saying whatever, so it's still using the index page that was inside that rivet web folder. And so it looks like, just by guessing, that the static page is going to override the dynamic page, let's say. And so if I was to come back over here to the second thing, Control-B, Control-B2, and then what I want to do, and I might as well close this out since I'm fixing to rename it. So I'm inside there, and there's that index.page. So I'm going to move that index.page, let's say, to index static.html, which I could just delete it, but I don't want to delete it until I know this is working. So theoretically, this should take me to the whatever's. Okay, it did. So that means I can come back over here, and then, I mean, this would really be a good time just to start saving this stupid file, I guess. But, and I wouldn't be inside the REPL while making an HTML page either. I'll just get rid of these guys right there real quick, though. When they're there, I can hit Control J, though. I just don't want to forget and then have it try to run the code. And so here, we'll just say title, ribbit faces, common Lisp stuff. And then I'm down to the body, and maybe just say a p tag, it's trying to learn Lisp and creating this page as I go. And just to make sure that works, come over here and refresh it. Control B so many times just to go back one character because I'm in two tmuxes. It's fun. Uh, three of them is really hard to do, but it's possible. I'll show that one day. And so now the next thing I guess is to maybe make a link to the other page. And probably the best way to do this would be make a heading of some some format or something. And so maybe in the body tag, let's see, because I want the body tag to be there first. And this is cool. I want to say I would. So there, I hit Control J, as I was talking about before. I think I might want to close the nil here, right? And that format command, which means I'd want to come over here and say format nil. I don't think that this matters, so maybe I can put the quote down here. And then that closes that off. And then this shouldn't change anything, right? Ooh, it changed everything. So look at the source and see what happened, I guess. Control U. And all I'm getting out of there is a body in HTML. If I change this right here, can I only put one of those in there? It's only showing the top first one. That didn't do what I expected it to do. Uh, I guess one way to get around this would be, like I said, this is going to be the ugly way to do stuff, but I might as well just try to learn this stuff. So here, maybe I'd say, and I don't know what to use, but I'm guessing the tilde A's maybe. Is that the proper way to do this, I wonder? If I hit tilde A twice like this, these would now be in quotes too, though, right? If I was to say tilde A and then tilde, I don't know if it should be a capital or lowercase. There's a difference between them, right? And then if I got rid of this format maybe, so I'd get rid of this, put this here. Now if I get rid of this format command here, then maybe this will work. That's an even uglier way than I wanted to do it, but whatever. This changes that. And now maybe, because now I want to make a, let's say like a little menu, so I can go to the index page or the Lisp resources page. And I was hoping I could split these format commands up, but since I can't, maybe I can just make a function. So I was just going to try to pretend like it was ASP or PHP and just weave in and out of HTML kind of. But I'm going to try to do the same thing, but now using this format command up above. So I don't even know how I would do this though. And would it be better, like I could make a function to do this, but I might just be able to make a variable and throw it in there also. So let's just define a variable, let's say. I'm just going to use def parameter. Last time I was using def vars when I wasn't in the REPL in one of my videos, and I got confused for a minute and didn't even correct it before the video was over. So def parameter, and then I'm going to call it menu, just I guess RF menu. I'm just putting rivet face there, RF in the beginning, because I don't know if it's going to have a variable called menu or some of these things I might use, let's say, especially like index. I don't know, something might mean something to Lisp. So if I put RF in front of it, at least there's probably not an RF dash menu inside Lisp, let's say. And then now, how would we do this? Let's say, maybe I'll just start off with BRs to separate the menus. Like I could put them in a table, but theoretically you should probably just use CSS to do something like that, I guess. So let's just say, we'll say like index page. So we'll say like a href equal, and then I don't know, like can I just put index? Oh, it was just a slash, right? So the slash. Like I don't even know if this is going to work, so I'll just test it out. And then we'll say index. Okay, so I wonder how like in PHP I could just use single quotes right here. But well, the single quotes are inside the double quotes, so I bet you I could do it here too. Because usually this right here is going to denote you're messing with a symbol. You don't want to try to evaluate, just return itself basically. But since it's inside the double quotes, maybe it'll work. And then in these slashes right here, hopefully since they're inside the double quotes, I don't have to worry about escaping these characters or something. I don't know. So that might be an issue too. And so then, and just so it's lined up, let's say, for now anyway, href equals, oh, yeah, I don't need that. Href equals, and then this one was Lisp resources, right? So if I just copy that guy there already. And maybe I could come over here, and then that didn't work. I think so. All right, right click and paste. It's the way I have this set up. So you can go to properties, and then it's like quick edit mode. And then another thing right here, I just clicked this on the other day. I found out about it. I could have used Control Shift D to paste probably, rather than right clicking. And I don't need a BR on that one, I guess, but for now I can put it there in case I add something. Oh, I'll just add it on the fly. And then that wouldn't be a double quote anymore, would it? So that's going to be the single quote. There's a single quote. There we go. And then this one will close that, and then this will close this. And then now if I call RF menu, let's say, then it spits that out. And I know it's kind of ugly, but at least the HTML won't matter. I guess if I wanted the HTML to look prettier, whenever someone looks at the source code, I get rid of all those spaces right there, and then it just looks uglier in my REPL right here. But I'm probably not supposed to be working in my REPL like this anyway. And so then now if I call that again, let's say, then there's our at least lined up a little bit better. And since that's just a variable sitting there, what I'll do now is maybe actually I'll copy this before I do anything else and stuff this over in that other file I was messing with. Just so next time I know what I was doing. Create variable for a menu, let's say, a link menu for a link menu. And then come back over here. And now I want to say I can come back to this nasty command I had over here. And I'm just going to put another tilde in here, let's say, tilde. And of course, these spaces don't matter, but I'm going to leave them in there because it makes it easier. And because that one has quotes and that one has quotes. Then I want to say this one right here. Format new, yeah. So I'm just going to throw another variable in here. And I'm going to call this one RF menu. So let's see if that worked or not. Oh, it did, but it put it way down there. And it only shows index. It's not showing the other one that I made. Just sort of stuff like that. That's just taking me to the same page. I guess it would make more sense to put the index first also. So what was I doing over here? If I post my tag, right? It's such good stupidity. It's not like that's not making it not work. So um, that, and then here I'm gonna put Lisp resources. Let's say post that a tag. See if that makes it better. There we go. Now, of course, the issue I have here is my menu is below that and going to be in the middle of everything else I start typing in my page. So first thing to do, I guess, would be to see if Lisp resources goes there, and it does. Now, this was a static file, right? And so I kind of want to go and make my menu over here real quick. And it's kind of tacky, but like in PHP, I could have put that menu somewhere and used an include file to do it. But in Lisp, like, how am I going to tell it, scan this HTML file and pull out the Lisp tags inside like an HTML file, right? So this one I might have to do manually, let's say. So I can come over here uh, and then edit that. Then Lisp resources, let's say. Try to find out where all this nonsense. Well, I'll put it at the top maybe. So as soon as the body tag opens, maybe. And then I'm just going to put it right here. Uh, my equal. There we go. And so here, I could just add this in real quick. So I'll just say href. I could just copy it maybe from the other page, actually. Um, and I think on this one, I might even put in a p tag to separate it from the rest of the stuff that org mode exported. There we go. And I don't know, maybe you could center those, but if I throw some CSS or something in there later and put a class there, it can make this thing go where I want it to be. Now I could go back to the Lisp resources or the index from here. So I can get back and forth between these two pages. And I guess from here, I'll go back over here. And then we got to figure out now how to separate this one more time, because I want my menu to be before this other stuff, but it has to be after the body, let's say, right? So for now, actually, what I could do is, I think, just, to make it simple, instead of adding a fourth, what do they call it, directive up here, then I could maybe just get rid of this guy right here and throw that down before my other body tag, let's say. And shoots my arrow. Oops. What did I do there? Probably see that back. And then it shoots my arrow key because I'm inside so many tmuxes right now. Hit Control J so it doesn't mess that up. And then come over here and paste that in, let's say. Oh man, so ugly. There's a command that I can get rid of all that white space. I just don't remember what it is inside Emacs. I'm used to using them, and then now I'm switching between the two, and it just gets confusing. So I think, even though it looks really ugly right there, that will work. There we go. I don't even want those BRs there for now, but whatever. So I really think that that might be all I need to know to start building a page really in this rinky-dink way. Because, you're going to add, like, you can add your JavaScript just like I'm adding the P tags. You can add your CSS tag in the head right here. So I want to say like this is actually working in a way that I could actually start building web pages. Now, there's all kinds of different things out there though for building these web pages on Lisp, like CL-Who, for instance. And CL-Who, put Lisp because notice what it'll yank up if I don't. And then with this right here, you could kind of start doing your, like this is a way, I guess, to make links too. So looks like, so what this is going to do is take all these, kind of like what I was saying, like I would do with awk. And then now it's going to take all these right here, and it looks like it'll turn all these links right here into href tags. And then maybe it's going to bold them or something, and then put like a BR. But I have no idea how to use Common Lisp or web programming Common Lisp, much less having to get a new library or something, or another markup language. So I just make my own markup language usually and let awk do all this junk for me, but I might as well figure out like the Lispy way to do this. Uh, and then like a lot of people also use this thing called clack instead. Well, I think CL-Who and This same guy makes that CLWho, I think, maybe, and a bunch of other stuff actually. And this runs on top of Hunchentoot. I hear a lot of people claim this is the fastest web server there is, which uh, I'm not sure how that works. Maybe the fastest web framework because it's actually running on top of like Hunchentoot, right? And like serving static files is slow in Hunchentoot, so does this make that faster? I don't know. Um, but once again, it's like learning all this new stuff to mess with, and I don't know. But for right now, I'm just going to develop on Hunchentoot. And I saw this guy even said somewhere that he develops when he's developing stuff, he develops all his pages locally in Hunchentoot, but when he goes and puts them on in a production site, he uses Clack. And I don't know if it's just like his preferred way to work, but I'm imagining since he's making Clack and Clack's like a drop-in replacement. Not a drop-in replacement, but it's like a abstraction layer for all the, at least all the common Lisp uh, web servers. So if you wanted to use some other web server besides Hunchentoot, then you could just use this. And I don't know if it works with any, let's say, any other web server. I'm not sure, but I think it is for all the Lisp web servers. So no matter what actual Lisp backend web server you use, and you can run Clack and run your stuff through there. But yeah, it's just I don't even know what I'm doing over here in Hunchentoot, so I'm going to wait. Oh, and what I was trying to say is I think the reason this guy does this though is because he's trying to make this work on like an abstraction layer. So if you build his stuff in development in Clack, he wouldn't be like just double checking every time that everything he does is going to work like really streamlined or whatever. So he probably develops everything in Hunchentoot, and then when he goes to production, uses Clack. And if everything works perfectly, then he knows that for the very least that his code's compatible or for Hunchentoot, you know. Anyway, I think I'm gonna stop there because just knowing this right here, now I can pretty much build any HTML page and could throw JavaScript or CSS inside there because that's all you really needed. I guess before I stop the video though, just for my own self, I should copy this and throw this over here since I'm not saving that. Uh, right. I don't know if that stuff's formatted right either. Like that doesn't do it any better. Uh, Emacs is like, or like, what's going on here? And then I updated this page too because it wasn't working before. So I'll copy that also. And that was right here. Let's say I could go like this and just come over here and get rid of that. And then come down here. And that's actually just doing my URI. Yeah. So I'm throwing all that stuff in here just because I don't know like how I'd separate all this stuff, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Setting up server, and this would be like setting up, we call these URIs, I guess. Setting up URI for root / index page. And then I'll just go right here and grab that, throw it up here, let's say. Yeah, it's kind of ugly, but I can always just reformat this stuff later. It's just if I hit tab, it's going to reformat like that anyway, but maybe if I was to come over here and say, I think it's like Control X R T, is it? And I should have highlighted stuff first. Maybe so if I go like this, and then go like this, and then go like this, and then go back one, and then come down like here. And maybe I could hit Control X R T to delete that. And then there's another command I want to say that would, I think it's like Alt MO or something, but I can never remember it. Or maybe it's, say that again, Alt MO. No. But there's a command that will tell me like rip this right here out, and then so I'll just hit delete because I love it retard. All right, and then it's hard to see where these things start and end, I guess. And this way, at least if nothing else, I can just copy this to throw that out just to get this back if I have to restart the server. I think I'll just leave it off of there, and someone else can go through these links if they're interested in them, I guess. And like I think I had like it's so it's just I should say like uncategorized, like this resource is unsorted because right here I'm talking about window managers that someone built one called doors, and then down at the bottom, then I had like the stump WM window manager down here. So yeah, whatever. Ribbit.